The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of wood smoke and ripening mangoes. The sun, a blazing orb in the afternoon sky, cast long shadows across the dusty paths of Umuofia. Children, their laughter echoing like music, chased each other through the huts, their tiny feet kicking up clouds of red earth. Life in Umuofia moved to the rhythm of the earth, each day a reflection of the last, bound by the invisible threads of tradition. The elders sat under the ancient baobab tree, their faces etched with the wisdom of generations past. They spoke in low tones, their words carrying the weight of proverbs and ancient tales. The elders watched, their eyes missing nothing. They saw the young men returning from the fields, their bodies strong and lean, their faces etched with the satisfaction of honest labor. They saw the young women, their brightly patterned wrappers swaying gracefully as they went about their daily chores, fetching water from the stream, pounding yams, and tending to their children. Yes, life in Umofia was good, as it had always been, as the ancestors had ordained it to be. But even as the elders basked in the warmth of the setting sun, a whisper of unease snaked through the village, carried on the wind that rustled the leaves of the baobab tree. A darkness was creeping into their midst, a silent invader threatening to unravel the very fabric of their existence. It came disguised as something harmless, something alluring, promising escape from the monotony of everyday life. But beneath its seductive exterior lay a potent poison, one that threatened to ensnare their young, leaving behind only shattered dreams and broken lives. The elders had seen such things before, in stories whispered by the firelight, tales of distant lands ravaged by unseen forces.
The moon, a silver crescent in the star-studded sky, cast an ethereal glow over Umuofia. The night was alive with the sounds of crickets chirping and frogs croaking in the nearby stream. But tonight, a different kind of sound pierced the stillness, a sound that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. It was the sound of laughter, loud and boisterous, coming from the edge of the village, where the shadows danced and the air hung thick with the smell of something unfamiliar. There, gathered around a flickering firelight, a group of young men huddled close, passing around a bottle filled with a clear liquid. Their eyes, usually bright with youthful exuberance, were glazed over, their movements sluggish and uncoordinated. One of them, a young man named Emeka, stumbled to his feet, his words slurred as he attempted to tell a joke. His companions roared with laughter, their voices echoing through the night, a jarring counterpoint to the peaceful symphony of the forest. Emeka, once the village's pride, a skilled hunter and a dutiful son, was now a shadow of his former self. His once strong body was wasting away, his skin taking on a sickly pallor. He had become a stranger to his family, his days and nights consumed by an insatiable thirst for the burning liquid that promised oblivion. His mother, her heart heavy with worry, watched from the shadows, her eyes filled with tears. She had tried everything to reason with him, to remind him of the values he had been raised with, but her words fell on deaf ears. Emeka, lost in his own world of delusion, no longer recognized the love in her eyes, the pain in her voice. He pushed her away, his words slurred and laced with anger. He accused her of not understanding, of being stuck in the past, of clinging to outdated traditions. He craved the escape it offered, the temporary oblivion that allowed him to forget his problems, his responsibilities, his very self. He embraced the camaraderie of his fellow revelers, young men who, like him, sought solace at the bottom of a bottle.
Annika, Emeka's younger sister, watched her brother with a mixture of sadness and anger. Annika, her heart heavy with a burden beyond her years, sought out the village elder, her voice trembling as she poured out her fears. She spoke of Emeka's transformation, of the strange brew that had ensnared him, of the fear that gnawed at her soul.
The world outside our village is changing. New winds blow, carrying with them both promise and peril. We cannot shield our young from everything, but we can arm them with the knowledge and wisdom to make the right choices.
Annika listened intently, her brow furrowed in thought. She knew her brother was walking a dangerous path, one that could lead to his ruin. But what could she do? How could she reach him through the fog of confusion and despair that had enveloped him? The elder, sensing her desperation, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder.
You are your brother's keeper, Annika. Never underestimate the power of love and understanding. Remind him of who he is, of the values that have always guided our people. Show him that true strength lies not in succumbing to temptation, but in resisting it.
Anika, her heart lifted by the elder's words, nodded resolutely. She would fight for her brother, for her family, for the soul of her village. She would remind Amika of the love that bound them, the traditions that gave them strength, the hope that sustained them. The drums beat a steady rhythm, their deep resonance vibrating through the heart of Umuofia. The villagers gathered in the clearing, their faces etched with a mixture of apprehension and anticipation. The elders, their faces etched with the wisdom of generations past, sat in a place of honor, their eyes observing everything. The air crackled with unspoken tension, a palpable sense of unease hanging over the gathering.
The village elder, his face etched with concern, rose to address the assembly. His voice, usually strong and steady, trembled slightly as he spoke of the shadow that had fallen upon their village. He spoke of the strange brew that had ensnared some of their young, leading them down a path of destruction. He reminded them of the stories passed down from their ancestors, tales of communities torn apart by internal strife, of lives lost to the allure of fleeting pleasures. We are the custodians of our traditions. We cannot stand idly by while our future is threatened. We must fight this evil, not with violence or anger, but with the strength of our unity and the wisdom of our ancestors.
His words, echoing through the gathering, ignited a spark of determination in the hearts of the villagers. They had faced challenges before, droughts, famines, even wars. They had always overcome adversity by standing together, united by the bonds of kinship and tradition. This time would be no different. They would confront this new threat head-on, drawing strength from their shared history and their unwavering belief in the power of community. The elders, their wisdom honed by years of observing the ebb and flow of life, knew that this was not just a battle against a substance, but a struggle for the very soul of their village. They understood that the allure of the modern world, with its promises of instant gratification and escape from hardship, could be intoxicating, especially for the young. They also knew that true progress lay not in blindly embracing the new, but in finding a way to integrate it with the best of their traditions, preserving the values that had sustained them for generations.